I want you to know I hear you, I see you, I believe you, and I apologize from the bottom of my heart.
I was hurt. I was hurt.
I do understand that could be hurtful. Not could be. That was hurtful to you. However, apologies though are for you.
Jackie ain't gonna never forgive that bitch. I'm just telling you the truth.
Hey you guys, it's Alima. Welcome back to my channel. I think I want to start with, hey Jacqueline, Dr. Jackie. Let's talk about apologies and apologizing and who it's for. Last episode when Letitia tried to apologize to you, instead of being, a bit more gracious, how you like to lead on to be, how you like to come off or pretend to be, you told her basically in so many words, because you like to speak in riddles because you think you're so much smarter than others, so there's no way anyone could ever decipher what you truly mean, right?
Impossible.
But anyways, instead of graciously accepting her apology, you basically told Letitia that when you apologize, it's for yourself and to give yourself peace, you know what I mean? So that you can come to terms with your own actions, you know what I mean? Basically saying that apologizing in so many words is selfish. Okay, so if we're going to use Jacqueline's logic on apologizing and who it's for, let's take a trip down memory lane. We don't have to drive that far either. When you made your infamous comments about Black women and or how they deal with pain, you made not one but two apologies, and I'm using the term apology loosely because I'm still trying to recall, I'm still trying to find, locate, the apology. Because it was very much an empty statement. It was very much self-serving, the way that you feel like Letitia's apology was. And I have to say, Letitia's apology was way more sincere than yours, Jackie. But I keep getting sidetracked. But Jackie, you remember how you sat up and you made that post on Instagrams about how you put the blame on us and say we misunderstood you, and you basically said that you're done with it.
I apologize. Done with it.
And then that wasn't enough, and you felt the heat from the public on your ass. And so you came back with your cue cards and your production crew and sat stiffly in front of the camera and recited this piss poor statement, because I'm still trying to, find the apology. And you even tried to conjure up some tears.
Why are you crying?
And you desperately want the public to know and feel how sorry you are. You know what I mean? So if we're using your logic and apologies are for yourself, should we be accepting your apology, Jackie? Was your apology sincere, or was it just for you and your conscience and your reputation to save your job and your career? You know what I mean? Because your apology seemed more that way than Letitia's. You are so caught up in this perfect image and people telling you how perfect you are and upholding you so much that you have started to believe these things about yourself. And I'm not saying that, being a doctor is not a huge, huge accomplishment, but baby, that doesn't make you God. That doesn't make you above anyone else. Like, y'all seen on Peacock the documentaries they release about those two crazy doctors who was out here doing these bootleg procedures on people. So I'm trying to understand how Jackie being a doctor absolves her from any type of accountability or would dismiss her from being capable of being an ugly person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that people should not walk around being confident, but it's dangerous to put yourself on such a pedestal because it doesn't leave any room for you to be able to make mistakes. And whenever you present yourself as perfect, the minute you make a mistake, people are going to, ride your back even harder because you're supposed to be this perfect person, like you said. So why are you out here making mistakes? You see how that can get you into trouble and why it could benefit you a lot more just to, I don't know, be a little more human. You know what I mean? Like, um, I don't think that being this perfect Patty is serving you. You know what I mean? That brings me to Heavenly. Like Heavenly, you Heavenly are creating an environment for, I wouldn't be surprised if you were to be iced out next. I mean, the only thing I feel like that would be stopping you from getting iced out is the producers because they know that you are willing to do any and everything for a good scene. You know what I mean? Like, you are burning bridges for what? You know what I mean? Like, and I can guarantee you the same way that Jackie sits there silent and does not speak up for Simone, you really think that she would speak up for you?
Impossible.
Jackie's loyalty is to herself and Curtis. You know what I mean? And this past season has made me just realize how Jackie is able to be with and remain with Curtis. It's because Curtis is a reflection of herself. People like Jacqueline think that they're so smart or that they're so above reproach that no one could ever possibly call them out or peep their BS because they're just far too smart to ever be caught. But the way you're not forthcoming about your feelings with this group when Eugene asked you what's the reason why you didn't want to come around, the way you're not being forthcoming with your feelings, I am willing to bet my last two brain cells and my left ovary that you, Jacqueline, never got over Curtis cheating on you. And you are very much still harboring resentment towards him and towards yourself. And that's why you were so paranoid about going on this trip. You and Curtis actually, and y'all mirror each other. You were scared about going on this trip because number one, you're not over it. Number two, you probably deep down, or probably not even that deep down, still have your suspicions, or you still are weary about Curtis stepping out on you again. Number three, Curtis's uneasiness about going, the way Curtis was so uneasy and paranoid about going on this trip speaks to how Jackie is probably just as uneasy and she hasn't, oh, I forgot about it. We don't even think about it anymore. Bull, you know what I mean? Like, both of you were way too on edge. And for Curtis, that says it could be two of two things. Number one, you're feeding off of Jackie's nervous energy, so you don't want the slightest, conversation to trigger and bring that back up because God forbid you have to console your wife. And then number two, you're probably still stepping out. You know what I mean? So you're uneasy for those two reasons. And then Jackie, you're uneasy because sweetie, all those trips to the DR, there's no amount of construction in the world, honey. The way Curtis was nagging you and bugging you about being too busy.
You're too busy, and you're too busy, and you're too busy.
Baffling to me how now he's the one who never has time to be at home. You know what I mean? Like Curtis complaining about you being busy, I feel like that was never, follow me. Follow me here. I feel like Jackie being busy was never truly an issue for Curtis. I feel like the only reason Curtis, brought that up was to cover his ass for whenever his infidelities came up so that he can say, I've been telling you you were busy. You see, you have to really think and like put yourself in the shoes of a manipulator. Curtis, that never bothered you that Jackie was busy because that gave you more space and opportunity to do what you were doing. You only said that it bothered you so that you could feel like you could look back and say you tried to communicate, but she wasn't listening. You know what I mean? Like, because for you to be gone as much as you are now, like what happened to wanting to spend time? And you're too busy, and you're too busy.
You're too busy, and you're too busy, and you're too busy.
Like what happened to all of that? Like, do you want to spend more time with your wife or not? So I find it really hard to believe that you are just out here in the Dominican Republic for business. You know what I mean? And then Jackie, baby, you are not fooling anyone. And I also wanted to get into that little list that you thought you ate Letitia up with, honey. The conversation, the category was hot seat. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but being in the hot seat is in reference to being held accountable. So none of the things you named on that list as like had anything to do with being in the hot seat or being accountable. Like you basically just gave us a job description or your day-to-day duties as a doctor. Like how is you delivering babies for women that you know you'll never be able to have being in the hot seat? That's not what being in the hot seat is. That is called being a doctor. You know what I mean? And then furthermore, why like I said in my video, did that need to be a part of your list? Like what? Like what does that even mean? Like I'm just trying to understand. Like you did not, the same way that you never eat your food, you did not eat Letitia up with that list. And I don't understand how everybody around the table was like, oh, as if you really did something, because you did not. You didn't. You didn't. And you're supposed to be a doctor and have all this education and know what words mean. And baby, you clearly don't know what it means to take accountability or be in the hot seat because your examples had nothing to do with being in the hot seat. I could understand if you said, I'm in the hot seat every time one of my patients come forward and said that I had terrible bedside manner, then maybe that would have been a valid example. But giving examples of all the day-to-day duties and tasks you have to fulfill as a doctor, that is not being in the hot seat. Saving a life is not being in the hot seat. That could be maybe being under pressure, but I think that, things got lost in translation, but you made no sense and you did not eat with that. And I just want to make that very clear, Jacqueline. Like, kudos to you, but it's a no for me. And another thing, Jackie, it's very dangerous to not give people's it's very dangerous to not practice grace and hold people's feet to the fire so much that you are not able to move on, because at some point in time, we will all find ourselves in a situation where we are going to want some grace, and we are going to want forgiveness, and we are going to want to move on. Hence the turn of events that happen that cause for you to have to sit before us and apologize. The same way you want people to forgive you and move on, you also have to be willing to forgive and move on. And you haven't displayed anything other than an old lady who likes to hold grudges. It's all in the way you never forgave Simone for when y'all had y'all's mishaps, because to this day, you allow, you know, and everyone's responsible for their own actions, but you sit back and watch and allow for Heavenly to baselessly attack and come after your friend of 20 plus years. You know what I mean? The way you are willing to lay down and take it, shout out to Maurice from Love and Marriage Huntsville. The way you are willing to lie down and take it when it comes to Curtis, you beat other people over the head the way you wish you could beat Curtis over the head. That's why you feed off of the friendship with Dr. Heavenly, because she gives you all of the things Curtis does not. You know, you want Curtis to support you. He does not. Heavenly does. You want Curtis to show up for you. He does not. Heavenly does. You know what I mean? You want Curtis to defend you. He does not. Heavenly does. You want Curtis to love you. He does not. Heavenly does. You want Curtis to like you. He does not. Heavenly does. You want to spend time with Curtis. He does not. Heavenly does. You know what I mean? Like, you want Curtis to listen to you. He does not. Heavenly does. You know what I mean? Like, you want Curtis to be attracted to you. He does not. Heavenly does. You want to sleep with Curtis. He does not. Heavenly does. Like, I could go on and on. You know what I mean? You and Heavenly's relationship is very telling. It's very telling for both of you, actually. Like, Heavenly seeks, validation and acceptance from someone who she regards highly. And then you, Jackie, you thrive and crave people praising you. You know what I mean? So it's very much a symbiotic relationship. Both of you benefit from one another. You know what I mean? Like, Jackie is the ass and Heavenly is the pair of lips. Like, y'all just go together like that. Like, there's no better way to put it. You know what I mean? So I feel like you all need some healing, and separation would do you guys well. I feel like the next season, yeah. That's all I have today, y'all. Like, I wish I had a bit more energy today, but I will see you guys this week for the new episode of Medical Wives. I cannot wait. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.